And now on BBC One, Luton Town play Liverpool as we join Jimmy Hill for Match of the Day Live.
Good afternoon and welcome to Match of the Day Live for the third round FA Cup tie between Luton Town and the cup holders Liverpool. And I could say you've never seen anything like it before, because apart from the Liverpool hierarchy and their close friends, there are no declared Liverpool supporters in the ground. Although the other clubs have backed Luton's experiment for league matches, they were against it for sudden death competitions, and today might well prove their fears to be unfounded if Liverpool win, or stoke them up should they lose. Further intrigue is added to the fixture because Liverpool, declared opponents to artificial surfaces for top-class matches, have already been beaten at Kenilworth Road in a Today League game by 4-1. I'll say that again, Luton 4, Liverpool 1. And those of you who think we see too much of Liverpool on television will be rooting for Luton. And I wonder whether they will outnumber those who support England's most successful club. News from this morning's FA Cup tie between Telford United and Leeds United is that Leeds came through by 2-1. The winning goal scored by Ian Baird just 5 minutes from time. 6,500 saw the game at the Hawthorns, no trouble reported. And we shall also keep you up to date with the running score of the Crystal Palace-Nottingham Forest Cup tie from Selhurst Park. David Davis, our reporter there. With me is Trevor Brooking. Take your pick, Trevor, Luton or Liverpool?
Well, my only confident prediction is the fact that it won't be 4-1 to Luton. It's a very, very difficult match for Liverpool. They certainly won't relish the prospect of playing there. And I would have said Luton, only 6 goals conceded, 1 home defeat. They will know that they've got to win today because they won't relish a replay. So Liverpool probably will try and keep it tight. I think I'm going to go for a low-scoring draw, Jim, and they'll have to go to Anfield.
Yeah. Do you see Liverpool being as dangerous everybody suggests once somebody's hurt at the moment? Have they still got that kind of venomous reprisal, as it were, when they've been done down?
Well, the main problem has been scoring goals in the last few weeks, and that's why they've gone out and signed John Aldridge, because I've seen them at Nottingham Forest when they just got a late equaliser 1-0, and then they lost at Watford 2-0, and they haven't been creating the chances, let alone putting them away. And certainly I think it's only 3 goals in about the last 6 games. So that's going to be one of the problems they've got to overcome today.
Well, let's go and look at now the atmosphere at Kenilworth Road and see what John Motson thinks about it.
Well, the first thing to tell you, Jimmy, is we're in the middle of a snowstorm. It started about 5 minutes ago, and those loyal Luton supporters about to welcome their team onto the field here at Kenilworth Road are in for a very cold afternoon. And here comes Steve Foster to a great ovation. Always a nice moment when the home team runs out for a cup tie. And remember that Luton were banned from the Littlewoods competition, so this is their first cup tie of the season. And having beaten Liverpool here in the league so convincingly, they're pleased to announce their strongest team for several weeks. Ashley Grimes has switched to left back because into midfield come number 7 Ricky Hill and number 11 David Priest, who have missed the last 10 and 11 matches respectively with knee injuries. Now at number 10, Mick Harford passed a late fitness test, but there's still a little bit of doubt about his knees, so don't forget there are 2 substitutes in the FA Cup this season. That's a new procedure this year, and number 14, Mark Steen, may have to be called into service. As for Liverpool, who would normally have been welcomed onto the pitch by some 8,000 supporters, but there was a silence mixed with a few raucous shouts from Luton fans as Liverpool ran out. They are fielding 8 of the team that won the FA Cup at Wembley and completed the double last May. You'll notice that manager Kenny Dalglish has left himself right out of the 13 names, And one of the substitutes is 24 years old Alan Irvine, signed from Falkirk recently for £100,000. So John Aldridge is not the first striker to be signed by Liverpool this season, although it will be interesting in view of Oxford's FA Cup defeat yesterday at Aldershot as to whether he is released earlier as a result of the amicable negotiations between the two chairmen of the clubs. Now, since our cameras were at Kenilworth Road, there have been structural changes on three sides of the ground. That's the Kenilworth Road end, a new roof there. That's where the visiting fans used to stand. On the far side of the ground, some fresh chalet-style executive boxes where you can sit either inside or outside, although today it's brave of those people to sit outside, I must say. Sign of football in the future there, perhaps, in terms of the boxes anyway, and the pitch. And at the far end, that's where the home fans used to stand at the Oak Road enclosure, and now that's an all-seated family enclosure. And the cost of those three developments to Luton Town, £1.3 million. Well, Jimmy Hill mentioned the 4-1 victory that Liverpool had, or Luton had over Liverpool earlier this season here, and Mike Newell, who is a Merseysider and was on Liverpool's books, in fact scored a hat-trick that day, and we'll be looking for some sort of performance again this afternoon. The referee this afternoon is Alan Gunn from Burgess Hill in Sussex. He was a cup final linesman at Wembley when Liverpool beat Everton last May, and his two linesmen there with the captains Paul Alcott from Red Hill and Mickey Pearce from Portsmouth. But difficult conditions, Bobby Charlton, and I'm sure the pitch, the situation over the supporters and other factors make this, even for you, an unusual situation.
That's right, John. I was just thinking how familiar this should be for Luton to play at home, and especially seeing that the away side have no support. But having said that, we've had a brief snowstorm, and it's, I think, even a little unfamiliar for the Luton players that they're going to have to play on a bit more of a skiddy surface than they used to. But Liverpool haven't won all the trophies that they've won over this last few years without preparing themselves properly, and I've no doubt that they're still very much in the league hunt. They're still very much in the FA Cup, and although they had that 4-1 deficit earlier on in the season, they were playing for 3 points then, and there were no replays. If they can sit back and just be a little bit more patient, I'm sure that the result will be different this time. Sympathy for all the Liverpool fans that are not here, but I still think there's going to be a great atmosphere, and I'm sure that the team will perform well for you, even though you're having to sit at home instead of here in the cold.
Yes, the artificial carpet already covered in snow, and Alan Gunn has already changed the ball so that the brighter coloured orange ball can be used. Luton Town, maybe not familiar to those of you in other parts of the country, white shirts, black shorts. You'll get to know their players as the tie develops. They're playing from right to left in the first half, and Big Mick Harford, having passed his fitness test, gets an early touch. That was Rob Johnson, and then Alan Hansen for Liverpool. Liverpool knocked out in the third round only once in the last 20 years. But I doubt whether the holders have ever begun their defence in quite similar circumstances to these. That's Mal Donaghy of Luton. Hansen. Steve Foster is with Ian Rush. Steve McMahon. Long kick by Les Seeley, the Luton goalkeeper. Harford was up, trying to find Newell. They'll look for his flick-ons. Over the head of Ashley Grimes. Donaghy covering Walsh. Paul Walsh, who left Luton for Liverpool in 1984. Was Harford, nice touch. So was that too. The ball played by Priest to Newell, and back to Brian Steen. Luton moving nicely. Rob Johnson. Good challenge by Jim Beglin. Nice and firm. Walsh chasing. Donaghy turning it back. Bang goes the balloon. But there is quite a nice atmosphere around the ground this afternoon, which is no disrespect to the Liverpool supporters who can't be here, but Luton do believe that their experiment has the advantages of encouraging families to come. An early covering of snow for Brian Steen. On by Johnston. Was Newell, now Beglin, David Priest, number 11. Began his cup exploits with Walsall, so I suppose he'll be pleased with yesterday's result. His old club won at Charlton. Free kick's been given. Alan Hansen with the challenge on Mike Newell. Got to keep an eye on Steve Foster at these free kicks for Luton. He's number 5 with the headband. Tends to hover behind Mick Harford or with him there on that side of the area. And Peter Nicholas and Ashley Grimes across by the ball. Grimes moves away. Nicholas takes it. Craig Johnston's header. That was Grimes. Nicholas again. Foster is still forward here, and it came off him. Here's Ian Rush. Paul Walsh. Liverpool breaking now with 4 men from midfield, but it was Ricky Hill who found David Priest, who in turn picked out Mike Newell. Here's Peter Nicholas. Into Steen. Now Harford, and now it's Hill. Priest is outside him. 3 in the centre. Gillespie, Nicholas. Good swift football by Luton, very much their trademark. They always did play the ball well to feet here at Kenilworth Road, and with this pitch you have to do that even more accurately. Here's Mulby. Lawrenson. Mulby again. Poked inside towards McMahon. This is Nicholas. Foster. Intercepted by Johnston. Mark Lawrenson is playing right back. Don't be deceived by the number 4 on his shirt. He's the right back, and Gary Gillespie, wearing 2, is playing in the centre of the defence. He just turned the ball back to Grobbelaar there. He's the central defender alongside Hansen. 5 minutes gone then. Here's Walsh for Liverpool. Priest. Steen back to Nicholas. Priest continuing his run on this side, left-footed player. Nice ball in. Mick Harford is up at the far side, and Brian Steen couldn't check, and Lawrenson cleared. That's where Mick Harford can be such a threat. And a free kick has been given to Liverpool, and a chance for Bobby Charlton to give his early impressions.
Well, it's a very skiddy surface, and Liverpool haven't come to grips with it yet. At the back, every one of them seems to think of nothing else but to give something for Ian Rush to run for up front by playing long balls. Luton, in contrast, playing good constructive stuff on the floor, obviously very familiar with playing on this surface, and it's a big advantage. Liverpool, I think, really will maybe have to change a little. Instead of the long ball, play the game that they're used to, which is good, attractive, well-built-up football from midfield, and not solely rely on the long ball all the time.
Liverpool playing without the normal backing they would have at that end of the ground, which they're attacking. Here's Mike Newell. Johnson. Again into Steen. That was Ricky Hill's header. Now Mulvey. Beglin looks for Walsh, and Rush lurking here on the left. Newell closing in there. There's Gary Gillespie. Well, after what happened here in the league in October, Liverpool will not be taking too many chances, you can be sure about that. Well, to be fair, they blamed themselves that day for the 4-1 defeat, not the pitch. Here's Rush. McMahon. Johnson out towards Harford. This is Gillespie. In fact, the only game Gillespie's missed this season for Liverpool was that 4-1 defeat here at Kenilworth Road. This is Johnston. Lawrenson. Nice ball. Rush. McMahon. Good passing by Liverpool. Ronnie Whelan. Curved across to Johnston. Walsh, there was a flag up there for offside, I suspect against Craig Johnston when the ball was first delivered. And what about the effect of the support here inside the ground then, Bobby?
Well, you have to have a little sympathy for Liverpool, I must say. And of course, any club that has to come here without any fans, it's very difficult for them to create an atmosphere of feel wanted, I must say. I don't agree with it. I think that there has to be some sort of allowance made for away supporters. Why should the Luton fans see more of their team than any other team in the country? But nevertheless, the game goes on. They are a professional outfit. You've got to put up with these things. Get on with it. The 90 minutes has started. You've got to make the most of it.
There's 10 minutes gone in the first half. There's no score. It's Ashley Grimes forward to Mick Harford. Brian Steen. Harford again. This is Rob Johnson. And off Alan Hansen. That's going to be a corner. Now, yesterday morning on this pitch, Luton were practicing their corner kicks, and the idea is for Peter Nicholas to swing them in from the right-hand side, and for Foster and Donaghy and Harford to make runs from the edge of the penalty area. Harford's there and wide. Must just say, to compliment or perhaps to enlarge on what Bobby Charlton was saying, I did have the doubtful privilege of being here the night that we televised the Luton Millwall match in the FA Cup 2 seasons ago, and it was largely because of the horrendous outbreak of violence that night that Luton decided on this somewhat controversial experiment. And I have to say, having one of the frightened people inside the ground, I have some sympathy with what they're attempting to do anyway. But it's a debatable point, and we'll continue to argue about it, no doubt. Here's Brian Steen. Into Nicholas. Ian Rush getting it away from Rob Johnson. Looking for Walsh. And here's Rob Johnson clearing from Ronnie Whelan. Jan Molby in a good position here. And skillful enough to make something of it. Whelan this is, but he wasn't at that moment. Hill. This is Steen just placing the ball for the free kick. Harford. Well, the snowflakes continue to flutter around Kenilworth Road, although it isn't quite as heavy as it was at kick-off. Here's Molby. And Rush with Donaghy. Gillespie stalking Harford there. This is Lawrenson. Paul Walsh away from Donaghy. Outside him is Craig Johnston. Whelan coming in from the far side, and it was Johnson who headed it back. This is Hansen. Donaghy. It's Mike Newell on the far side. His family are here today. They are Liverpool people, but he has the privilege as a player of giving them complimentary tickets. Steen. Broke nicely. Harford didn't connect. Flick on by Rush, who got it back from Walsh. Ricky Hills was the challenge. He and Priest delighted to be back in the action today. It's a big game to come back in, but if they can rise to the occasion, they should improve Luton's chances against the holders of the FA Cup. Here's Steen. Johnson swinging it in for Harford. He got to it. Newell is up too. Here's Ricky Hill. Steve Foster. Johnston. Ashley Grimes. So, a quarter of an hour gone here in the FA Cup. Third round, Luton 0, Liverpool 0. It's going to be a goal kick.
I must say that you have to look at Luton and think, for all they've got the familiarity with the pitch, etc., you know, they really have some good players. Mick Harford and Newell up front, two great big lads, well supported from the midfield. Ricky Hill on the right side of the field, very intricate player, but they are playing well on the surface just at the present time.
And Craig Johnston is offside, which gives me the chance to tell you that at Selhurst Park, Crystal Palace have taken the lead against Nottingham Forest through Alan Irvine, who is a former Everton player, and not to be confused with the Alan Irvine who is on the Liverpool team sheet as sub today. But the Crystal Palace Alan Irvine has drawn first blood in South London there against Brian Clough's team. 1-0 to Palace. Here's Priest to Steen. Priest again. Shaking off Walsh. But here's McMahon. A nice ball to Ian Rush. He's got Mulby coming through the middle here against Foster. Les Seeley would want to have stopped that if he could, but he can't. It's a corner kick of Foster. Now, Gary Gillespie is a Liverpool player who would normally go forward here. Craig Johnston to take the corner. Mulby's waiting there with Grimes. Gillespie is making a bit of a move now and checking out again. And rushes with the goalkeeper. Seeley's clearance very fast out to Harford, who got a good touch on it too. That was smart thinking. Here's David Priest. Beglin only as far as Nicholas. Mark Lawrenson, usually very assured. You can see from that well-lit scoreboard, 18 minutes and no score. Liverpool just making steady progress down the right-hand side here. Often when they go a little quiet, that's when they can be at their most venomous. Johnston back again to Lawrenson. Right across to Ronnie Whelan. Rushes here. So is Walsh. Nicholas in quickly. And this is Gillespie. Jim Beglin. Steve Foster. Nicely on by Nicholas de Steen. Priest. And you can see the Luton pattern developing a little here. Some good passes of the ball in the team. That, of course, has been a Liverpool quality down the years. Ricky Hill for Luton. Into Nicholas. And very quick Gillespie to see that. Most of the coaches agree that on an artificial surface, accurate passing to feet and good balance, two of the things you need most. Johnston was accurate. He found Walsh, who turned nicely and got the free kick. Lofting it forward, looking for Whelan. That's Johnson's header. Harford. Hill. Steen. Hill again. Good movement from Luton. But Lawrenson prevents Steen from latching onto that. And now it's Johnston for Liverpool. Well, that's also good play. Mulby. Whelan's out wide. Rush is making a move towards the near post. Foster sliced it rather. Beglin. Again Foster. That's a free kick. It was Harford on Hansen. Driven forward by Beglin. It's Walsh and Johnson. Heads up for a free kick to Luton.
Yes, John. Whenever we teach youngsters, we try to tell them to play the ball on the floor. There's many reasons for this. A, it's quicker, and B, it's much easier for your pals to control it at the other end. It's very important that that happens on a pitch such as this, because to control the ball when it's bouncing around so much in the air, does take a lot out of you physically. It's much easier if you can for the play as a team if you can keep the ball on the floor.
That was a shot by Harford, and it struck the groin almost of bar and post. It was a splendid effort. And after the sort of build-up that Bobby Charlton was talking about, the opportunity there for Mick Harford to volley one from long range, and that hit the angle. It was David Priest who was involved first off, a lovely little lay-in with the left foot. Steen pulled it back, Harford shot, and it cracks against the bar. Offside flag is up now, but those two passes which gave Harford that chance, Bobby, by Priest and Steen, just underlining the point you were making.
Of course, and the ball that was laid back by Steen, just a little touch, but that's because they're used to playing these balls back to midfield players. And Luton, as it turns out, have had more shots at goal than Liverpool. Every time they get a half chance, they shoot on sight. And of course, makes it very dangerous for defenders, as we've just seen there.
This is Rob Johnson. Grobbelaar's out of his goal still. Steen, and he got back in time. So the first flurry of real excitement, and it's at the Liverpool end, and Bruce Grobbelaar a relief man. Halfway through the first half, and Luton threatening Liverpool. First off, a tremendous shot, and then two substantial attacks to supplement that. And any one of those three moments could have finished up with the opening goal, but Liverpool gathered their forces and seem to have survived. Here's Rush. Referee Alan Gunn from Burgess Hill has had a quiet word with the Liverpool bench while all that's been going on. This is Jan Molby, and now it's Whelan, and now Grimes turning it back. That's going to be a corner. I just wonder whether that might have pushed Liverpool into counter-action. Here comes Walsh with Seeley. Just don't know whether Bruce Grobbelaar in that last melee in the goal mouth might have taken a slight knock, because Roy Evans, the trainer, went round to have a look, and it was while he was on his way back, the referee had a word with him.
I think actually when the shot hit the bar, Bruce Grobbelaar probably hurt himself when he fell, because he was in mid-air diving, and obviously the ground's very hard to fall on. I think he shook himself up a little there.
Hill into Steen. Now it's Priest. Grimes. Lawrenson. So 25 minutes gone in the first half, and Luton trying to capitalise here on home advantage. Nicholas, though, this time behind the goal. Just a point about Mick Harford there, Bobby, always regarded as a very dangerous customer in the air, but that was a superb volley first time.
Yes, and people say that they don't shoot from outside the box these days. The crowd loves seeing that. It was a half chance, it came to him just right, and he thought, I'll take potluck. And now they got the game going with the first goal. It's great to see shots at goal like that.
That comes from a man who supplied a few in his time. And here's Ronnie Whelan on the left for Liverpool. This is Johnson for Luton. Nicholas. Priest. Well, the balance of play for the moment is with Luton. That was Grimes playing it forward, Alan Hansen's header. Mind you, how many times have we seen Liverpool with their backs to the wall, so to speak, and then in their own time they've chosen to come out and take over, but at the moment it's Luton trying to produce something in the way of a goal to climax this good period for them. And here's Harford. Free kick's already been given on the far side. well played by Nicholas. Now it's Donaghy. Johnson. And that's Beglin, but referee's already blown. The Luton team showing signs of confidence stemming from that earlier victory over Liverpool in the league. That day Liverpool played with a sweeper. They're not doing that today. This is Mulvey, who was the sweeper that afternoon. Ricky Hill into Steen now. And Mulvey very nicely away from Nicholas. That was good skill by the Dane. 4 up with him too. This is Ronnie Whelan. It's Newell, then Harford. McMahon with Hill and Hanson. Johnson. And again. Ashley Grimes. That was a challenge by Mark Lawrence on Mike Newell. Free kick to Luton. And Ashley Grimes with his left foot. Good play, a diagonal ball from here. Nicholas is also with him. Harford waits to make the run, and so does Foster. And it came off Gary Gillespie for a corner to Luton, who will now push Donaghy forward to support Foster and Harford. Steen is on the goal line. Harford.
Two good headers Mick Harford's got in there, and Liverpool have to be a bit worried when anything they get any free kicks or corner kicks around the area. They've 2 free headers that he's had there, and not one of them he's ever been able to keep low enough, but nevertheless a big danger for Liverpool from the Luton aerial squad.
Grimes, and then Nicholas. Mike Newell, Steen, Newell again. And that's David Priest. McMahon to Johnston. Lawrenson. Johnson in well on Nicholas there. Don't think he knew he was there. Again, Johnston away from Grimes this time. Good play. Foster's clearance. Hill. Priest. Hill to Grimes. Newell. Nicholas. Priest. Good effort by Priest. Luton playing a very direct game, which is bound to be expected, familiar as they are with the surface. Half an hour gone then, no score in this FA Cup third round tie, coming to you live from Kenilworth Road, Luton. And here's their number 4, Nicholas. And Grobbelaar had come out, but Beglin took the reasonable alternative there. Here's Nicholas. McMahon. Walsh. Ashley Grimes very close to him. Well played by Mulvey, but the referee had already blown for a foul by Grimes. This is Walsh, and now it's Beglin. Looks for Rush. Can never be ignored. Whelan. And Johnston. Well, Liverpool haven't threatened Les Sealy's goal as yet. They might now. Whelan. Johnston. Walsh is coming in here, and Seeley saw him. And also took quite a stiff challenge, Les Seeley, from the former Luton Town player, Paul Walsh. Steve Foster was trying to see the ball back safely to his goalkeeper here, and Walsh sneaked in on his blind side and just caught Seeley as the goalkeeper gathered the ball. But he's all right again. This is Grimes. Priest. Nicholas. Newell. Rush. Johnson having a steady game at right back. Well played by Hartley, back to Grimes. In for Hill. And away by Lawrenson. With all their experience in European football, although not currently, obviously, Liverpool should know how to defend against the first half onslaught of a team like Luton here, and now they're on the attack with Whelan. Beglin, and well gathered. It's Jim Beglin who fired in the cross. Steen. Now Priest. Steen fell, but Hill came in behind him. Newell is also forward, so is Harford here. Rush. Paul Walsh on the far side, in again to Rush, but Nicholas able to step in there. So we are 10 minutes away from half-time, and the score remains Luton 0, Liverpool 0. Here's Priest. Donaghy's header. Nicholas. Lawrenson. Rush. Nice, Foster. Oh, Steen allowing it to run on to Newell, and then Hansen finding Lawrenson. All rather unpredictable there. And the pass only goes to Nicholas. Beglin, rather more orthodox, up to Rush. Priest now for Luton. Steve McMahon coming out of that challenge, holding his arm, and indeed he's got a slight mark there as he fell on this artificial surface. Can be very painful at times. This is Walsh. There again, how many grounds in the country could have been absolutely certain of staging a match this weekend? Obviously, most of the cup ties did go ahead, but when you've got a surface like this, at least you know for certain you're going to play. Lawrenson. Harford's touch. And away by Beglin. Then Hansen. Once the ball comes down again onto the ground, we can see some play. This is Grimes. McMahon, little flick. But again, the bounce will slow it down. Hill to Steen. And Luton have an injury now in the middle of the field. Peter Nicholas is the man who went down. This is Priest. He also fell awkwardly. Hill. Harford. And Nicholas back on his feet now. Glad to pass the ball on. Priest. Outside him, Ashley Grimes. And three in the middle here. Hill's there. But Luton have had one or two heading opportunities without getting their effort directly on goal. Nicholas is back in the thick of things now. McMahon for Liverpool, looking for Rush. Hansen. Liverpool haven't been able so far to release Ian Rush onto the kind of pass he would normally be looking for. But that's not to say it won't happen yet. It can't be ignored even for a moment. Liverpool's qualities include that marvellous gift of biding their time when they have tough assignments away from home. But Luton would be looking before half-time, perhaps to get the goal that they may feel their overall possession deserves. This is Priest. Nicholas. Hill. Lofted for Steen, can he take it? No, he can't. What a lovely pass. This is Craig Johnston. And Rush won't reach that. 5 minutes to half-time. Ricky Hill on the ball now, supplied that delicate ball to Brian Steen a moment ago. Steen on the other side of the penalty area on his right foot. Might have caught that rather better. Here he is again. Here's Priest. Harford's in the thick of it. Ricky Hill outside. Oh, Ronnie Whelan. Well, Luton have played with imagination and at times direct style, but have not got anything to show for it so far. And here's Paul Walsh for Liverpool. Rush has come across into this side of the field. Here he is now against Foster, into Moldy. Oh, they've got McMahon completely free on his own. First touch meant he had to go round the long way. Still McMahon, and Donaghy clears. Liverpool's best opening, without a doubt. All they get is a corner, because McMahon's first touch just drove him wider than he would have liked to have gone. Moldy picks the ball up now. Back in again to Johnston, and Foster's header out. How typical of Liverpool there that they should make the extra man in a counter-attack after having had to defend for so long. Gillespie is forward here. That was Johnston, that was Gillespie, but Nicholas close to him. Peter Nicholas with a bloodied nose there from that earlier fall. Grimes. Here's Mulvey. Walsh. Rush. This is the Liverpool passing game now. Lawrenson looking for Walsh. Donaghy reads it. Johnston back again to Lawrenson. And the slightest indiscretion on this surface makes it look like a bad pass. It has to be absolutely true, and so is the control essential. Steen. And now Walsh and Johnston. Donaghy's the defender. Corner again to Liverpool, who are ending this first half with probably their best spell. They've got 2 minutes. It's a corner. Gillespie is forward again. Rush is inside the 6-yard area. And it was Hill away from Whelan. Hook back in though. 3 Luton players going for that together, and it was Nicholas who cleared up to Harford. Hansen's volley. Rob Johnson. Harford. McMahon for Liverpool. Had to check there and play it square because the forwards had not got ahead of him. This is Johnston though. They are now. And Craig Johnston showing good skill. Rush this is. Deflection, and fortunately for Seeley, Rush's shot was deflected, but Craig Johnston did the hard work there. It was deflected straight to the goalkeeper. And we're into the last minute of the half, and here is Johnston. Well, the supporters hugging their shoulders against the chill. It's that sort of afternoon down there on the pitch. Luton having nothing to show for doing most of the attacking, and then Liverpool producing a fairly ominous 5 minutes leading up to half-time. Here's Rush. Stoppage time now. Jim Beglin. Laid in low. Walsh. McMahon. Oh, that was well off. What have you made of this first half, Bobby Charlton?
Well, a bit of indecisiveness from Liverpool in the first part of it, but like you say, this last 5 or 10 minutes, they seem to have got a little bit more confidence in themselves, and they're playing the type of ball that you have to play on this surface, which is the ball played directly to feet instead of to the sides or in front of players. That way, they'll be able to have a little consistency in the build-up, and because of that, they've looked dangerous for the first time in the match. Probably, actually, they had the best chance in the match when Steve McMahon got put through on the left-hand side of the field, and just his own basic control let him down. He'd be mad that he missed the best chance for Liverpool. But something for them to look forward to in the second half, the mere fact that they've got to grips with this pitch at last, and probably they can see a light at the end of the tunnel and perhaps a result.
And just to balance that out, nearest Luton came was when Mick Harford hit the bar, and they also had 2 or 3 headers that weren't too far away. But at half-time in this FA Cup third-round tie at Kenilworth Road, the score is Luton Town 0, the holders Liverpool 0.
Trevor Brooking's prediction of a low-scoring draw right so far. We shall hear from him in a moment. But before that, Nottingham Forest are playing at Crystal Palace. We've heard that Crystal Palace have been leading 1-0 in the first half. But let's get the half-time situation now with David Davis.
Yes, Brian Clough must surely have feared the worst when he saw this South London pitch that made standing up the greatest skill in the first half. And Alan Irvin's goal after 23 minutes, superbly taken when he was sent clear on the right by Mark Bright, can only have increased his apprehension. For long periods, Palace, as you'd expect of a side who've won 5 of their last 6 games, they've looked the more confident side. Forest, who haven't won any of their last 6, whisper it near Brian Clough's ear, but there's a suspicion they accept the gods and the elements are against them. True, Johnny Method in huge brown gloves, playing in Carr's place, has gone close a couple of times. Neil Webb has managed a few magical moments to defy those elements. But it's been the fullback Finnegan, Andy Gray and Gary O'Reilly on his Palace debut who've really caught the eye in a second division side that are certainly deserving the lead. Yes, it's a lottery here, and Cloughy looks to be out of luck.
Slightly deathly report there from Selhurst Park. I wonder if it's going to be the death of the FA Cup from Nottingham Forest. But to look back now at that game, interesting to see the way the club settled down to start with on that pitch. Obviously, Luton had the early play and proved, of course, that it is possible to play on a surface if you keep the ball on the floor, as Bobby Charlton's been saying. Young Priest here, there were 5 men in this move, I think, all told, along the floor all the while. That's Newell just lays it back beautifully. Nicholas, who eventually takes the shot, is in the move. And you'll see Ricky Hill, who started it, has popped up on the left-hand side. Nice ball along the line there. And there is the 6th man, I think. Ashley Grimes coming up, and Peter Nicholas at the end of it, with the ball on the floor all the while, except for the shot, proving that it is possible to carve out chances and make the finish on that surface. But the man who most likely to have put Luton in front has been Mick Harford. He's only had 3 games since he came back, and this was a header. Not often you out-jump the Liverpool defence, but in this occasion, he jumps beautifully, wonderfully in the air, and you can see Grobbelaar stranded in that position, and a perfect opportunity, really, had he been able to get the ball on the target. But the shot that Bobby Charlton liked too, the one from outside the box, bit of a surprise. I don't think many people expected him to take it. Ball nicely cushioned back. They do that well. Half volley it was. Beat Grobbelaar, who was as near it as he could have been, and as a goalkeeper would claim that, you know, if it had been below the bar, he'd have touched it anyway. That's the stories that goalkeepers always tell us. But lastly, a word for Bruce Grobbelaar. Very unusual incident, this, in football these days. You saw the moment when he got injured. He came out bravely in this situation. It was his ball. The player doesn't want to touch it in case he puts it past him. That's Hansen. They do the right thing, but he took a lot of crushing boots there, flying all over the place. Couldn't have felt all that comfortable in that situation. Wondered where he was. And see what happens when the ball comes back. His responsibility is to get back in goal, which he does very well, and finally collects this header. But it's not that that makes Grobbelaar great in my eyes. It's what he does afterwards. He can't feel that good, and I know almost every goalkeeper that you could imagine would take that opportunity of having the trainer on, but no, he likes football. He likes the game to be in play, and if in a moment he would stand up and throw the ball out, I'd be most grateful, because that's exactly what he did on the field. Injured he was, but he threw the ball out at the end of it, Trevor, which was really something these days. His manager might wince, but I think the crowd on a cold day would approve that.
No, he did well, Bruce, to keep it in play, especially as the game was going, because for 40 minutes, Luton really dominated. Couldn't really quite get the clear-cut chance they wanted. Liverpool, particularly in midfield, I think that was the department that they struggled. McMahon and Mulby really didn't get much of a look in. Very impressed with Priest and Hill, considering they've both been out a couple of months. They controlled it. Peter Nicholas and probably Brian Steen, who just plays off the front two. He gave them the extra option, and they did knock it in along the floor. And it was only those last 5 minutes where we saw a little bit of the possession football that we know of Liverpool. And of course, as Bobby Charlton said, Steve McMahon's first touch let him down, really, because they did have the best chance. Although he still created an opening, and Mal Donaghy did very well to head it underneath the bar. Here it is, in fact, the patient build-up. Jan Mulby gets it, and Steve McMahon going to take it in his stride, but his first touch lets him down. He has to go out wide. Les Seeley decides to scamper after him. Suddenly realises, I think I better get back in goal here. But it's a bit too late then. The perfect chip, but there's number 6, Mal Donaghy, keeping cool, and heads it over the bar rather than under the bar, where it could have well ended up.
He's a very reliable player indeed for Luton, and in fact for Ireland as well.
Very underrated. I mean, he and Steve Foster have been a superb pair, and of course Mal Donaghy can play left back as well. But I think Luton have done very well, and probably pleased to get the half-time whistle, because they were just losing it those last 5 minutes, but they played very well for 40 minutes.
Well, we've had our opinion, Trevor's had his. Let's see what those who've been standing out in the cold there at Kenilworth Road feel about it. They're talking to Bob Wilson.
Well, not exactly standing out in the cold, Jim. Sitting here in the cold, it certainly is cold. And Ron Dean's here with me. You've been a fan of Luton since how long, Ron?
Oh, since about 1945, I would say, so that's a long time.
Are you quite happy with your team's performance in the first side?
The first half, yes, I would say that we've carved out more opportunities than Liverpool, just haven't quite been able to convert them. But yes, I think we have the edge so far.
Can I ask you what you feel about the fact that there are no opposing fans? There are, in fact, about 50, 100 behind us, I know.
Yes, we can hear a few of them, but yes, the game does lose a little bit of atmosphere from the point of view of supporting the opposing people, but at the same time, I think that the residents around the ground and the shopkeepers and so on are finding it much better, as indeed the home fans are, because every visiting club seems to bring some hooligans with them, which results in violence here and there, and we don't want that.
Right, let me just move along the line a little bit and speak to a lady who I think also has been a fan. What's your name, dear?
Maureen,
How long have you been a Luton fan?
43 years.
And are you happy about the fact now that there's no problem with hooliganism?
Yes, I think it's a lot better for the families that like to come. And I think, yes, I really enjoy coming now. It's
So
safer, yeah.
It's safer and you feel that the youngsters can come as well?
Yeah, I think the game loses a bit of atmosphere. I mean, there is a few here today, which I think does help. But I think if there's loyal supporters that can come and they don't want to cause trouble, I think they should be allowed to come, yes.
And you think you'd applaud and shout if Liverpool scored a goal?
Yeah.
You'd be good and fair?
If it's a good game, yeah.
All right, let's have one more little view here from these two ladies here.
Yes.
I was just asking whether it feels that the game loses an atmosphere having no opposing fans.
Not really. We never got that many, really, did we?
Do you feel safer coming to the games?
Definitely, yeah. Definitely.
Yes. And are you happy with your team's performance? Is that
Definitely, yes.
Good.
Yes. Are you?
Oh, I think they're playing very well. Do you think they'll win?
Surely, yes.
Okay, thanks very much. Thanks, sir.
I wonder whether they'll be just as happy at the end after the next 45 minutes. And while we've been watching this game, they've been making the draw for the Scottish FA Cup third round. Up there, the big clubs come in on the 31st of January, and there's one tie that really stands out from that draw. It's Aberdeen, the holders, versus Celtic. Rangers are at home to Hamilton, and it's last year's beaten finalist Hearts, who are at home to Kilmarnock. Well, Trevor, you've told us what has happened. Now, the big question, what is going to happen in this next 45 minutes?
Well, it's a typical cup tie, very tight, neither side really wanting to go one down, because it could be, as we always felt, the sort of game where one chance will settle the match. And of course, it's very important. Both these sides are fancied if they get through this particular tie. And I think Luton, as I said earlier, will feel that they've got to win today. They won't relish going up to Anfield, where not many sides will get a result. So if they can just keep playing, knocking the ball in. And as we said, Mickey Hartford, the one worry, I think Ricky Hill and David Priest have been out 2 months. Mickey Hartford, only 3 games, missed all the rest of the season. You wonder over the 90 minutes whether they will start to tire. And then they might have to include 1 or 2 substitutes. They've got Mark Steen, who's a lively little lad, the brother of Brian, and he might well get a sort of airing in the game, shall we say, if they haven't got the breakthrough with 20 minutes to go.
Yeah. Well, you, like me, can't see Liverpool really getting beaten, having survived that first half.
It's going to be difficult, yeah.
Well, that's all for so far. Let's go back and see exactly whether our predictions are right now with Bobby Charlton and John Watson.
Well, the supporters well wrapped up, and in the light of the experiment, Luton Town have reported today that crowds so far this season here at Kenilworth Road have shown quite a healthy increase. So despite having no away supporters, they haven't lost out at the gate. And you have to know this ground to understand the chief reason for the fears that followed the riot here. Because as Luton take the field, those that do know the environment will appreciate that this ground is shut away rather at the top of 2 roads, and you can only get to it from the main street, and there's no doubt that many residents were living in some fear of the minority of supporters disturbing their peace. But certainly that would not apply, as far as I'm aware, to Liverpool fans coming here in the past, and those watching on television today, rather than being here, will no doubt recognise that this is in keeping with many Liverpool away performances. Up to now, a fairly efficient, if unspectacular performance, as would befit the holders facing a tricky away tie as their first defence of the trophy. And a reminder too, because it is a new departure this season, that there are 2 substitutes allowed in the FA Cup. And Luton have Mark Steen if they wish to bring a forward on. There he is, in fact, in the corner of the picture there, little Mark, brother of Brian Steen. And that was Tim Breaker there, the other substitute, the blonde lad. And Liverpool, should they choose, could bring on either Barry Venison or Alan Irvine. Anyway, Liverpool start the second half, playing from right to left. And it's David Priest for Luton Town. There's Nicholas, Alan Hansen, Whelan, Mulby, and Foster. There's McMahon. And Gillespie. Offside given against Walsh. Seeley with the kick. Harford is up with Hansen. It's Ricky Hill with Jim Beglin. Rob Johnson with the cross. And that's going to be a corner. Hansen cleared it, but this is danger for Liverpool because Foster and Donaghy are on their way forward. And Nicholas will be looking for either them or Mick Harford here. Steen up with Grobbelaar, but it was not a difficult ball for the goalkeeper, and a free kick anyway was given. Whelan. Luton themselves have a good recent FA Cup pedigree. They were semi-finalists 2 seasons ago, beaten by Everton, and then last season beaten in a 6th round replay also by Everton, so haven't had the best of fortune against Merseyside opposition, although they have done well in league games here recently against both the Merseyside clubs. Indeed, only Watford have won on the artificial surface here at Kenilworth Road against Luton this season. Steen. Beglin. There's Harford back to Priest. Johnson to Hill. And away by Mulby. Whelan. Steen. Forward by Johnson. So 5 minutes into the second half and no score here. And Ashley Grimes in on Craig Johnston. Although I have to report this has been a most sporting match up to now. It's hardly been a tackle to disturb the composure of referee Alan Gunn, or indeed to ruffle any of the players. But here's Molby. And Liverpool now have the free kick and perhaps a chance to create something. Gillespie is forward for Liverpool here. Molby takes it. And Foster was with Gillespie. Ricky Hill's header out. Mike Newell. Good control by Newell. Crease. It's a spectacular attempt to find Harford, but he was offside anyway. There goes Rush with Foster, and Rush almost got a look in there. Foster has argued about the decision, which is a corner, but it could have been worse for him. It was a moment of daylight. Whelan to take the corner. Johnston coming in. But if you do hear any shouts for Liverpool or chants of champions, then there are the permitted number of Liverpool followers who've been given the players' complimentary tickets, which is still part of the arrangement between the two clubs when teams come to Kenilworth Road. The only visitors allowed in are in fact players' friends or directors.
That's right, although they're very inventive in Liverpool, you know, I'm not surprised that a few have turned up that might not have been allowed.
Certainly had plenty of practice at getting tickets for big games, looking back on those cup finals, Bobby. Here's Rob Johnson. And all over Europe, many of those die-hard Liverpool followers down the years. But most of them confined to watching this particular cup tie on an artificial surface through a screen in their living room. Whelan. Molby. Out on the right here is Johnston. He's got Lawrenson going down outside him. And Lawrenson did well to force the corner off Ashley Grimes. Liverpool ended the first half strongly, and early in the second here they forced 2 or 3 corners. And that one was headed out by Ricky Hill. Whelan, McMahon, and Foster was in first. Newell. To see who's there, it's Nicholas, now it's Hill, and Luton have got plenty of players forward in this attack. Nick Harford on the ball, Hill. Bruce Grobbelaar, whose contract is up with Liverpool at the end of this season, he's just completed 150 clean sheets in 340 league and cup games, and as Bruce himself said, not bad for a comedian. Here's Lawrenson. That's a foul by Steen. Turned on again by Steen for Newell. And Gary Gillespie, that's going to be a corner. minutes gone in the second half, and Luton don't mind the corners at all. It gives them a chance to, on the left, allow Priest to deliver them to those waiting at the back there. And well taken by Grobbelaar. He picked that out beautifully from the oncoming Foster and Donaghy. Into Steen, that's again good football to feet by Luton. Priest has got Harford in, but the ball just wobbled away from him. It's a good pass from David Priest. McMahon, Whelan.
Priest and Nicholas in midfield, I feel, are very important parts of the Luton build-up. They have a good build-up. They look out and they give the right sort of service to the forward players. At the same time, you would expect a player of Jan Mulby's capabilities to be the one to do it for Liverpool. So that little battle in midfield is going to be very important. All intricate players with a little bit of expression.
Here's Ricky Hill, who can also express himself. Nicholas. Mulby did well there, as that ball was fisted out. Here's Johnson. Hill, good skill again by Luton, but Gary Gillespie keeping things tight for Liverpool. For Walsh, Foster. Well, it's good competitive stuff here. Just for the moment, absence of direct scoring chances. Neither team can break down the opposition sufficiently to present one of their strikers with the sort of opportunity that might settle the match.
Yes, basic control, I think, is the important thing here. When balls are played up the players, if it's not perfect because it's a greasy surface, the actual control is very, very important.
The snow has now ceased, and the pace is still unrelenting. This is rush to Whelan. Mulby. Oh, that's terrific stuff from the Dane, and Donaghy had to come and meet him head on. Here's Johnston. That's also good by Johnston. And Whelan. Oh, that wasn't so good. Good turn of pace, though, by Craig Johnston on the right.
It's terrible for fullbacks when you've got a player with pace like that knocks it past you and runs, especially on this surface. It's very difficult to turn. But a great ball inside, and Ronnie Whelan just that little bit high with his chance. It was a good chance, though.
This is Whelan. Newell with Gillespie, but Lawrenson is there to cover. There are so many good athletes in the Liverpool back four. But even if you beat one man, the chances are there's another international lying in wait for you. There's David Priest trying to get it forward early to Newell. Linesman on the far side is flagging. Holding by Lawrenson. The bookmakers were quoting 25-1 against Steve Foster to score the first goal today. And he's back in an attacking position. Steen. Nice turn, and Grobbelaar has managed to get that out for a corner from Brian Steen. 15 minutes gone in the second half. Nicholas will swing the corner in for Luton. Steen again at Robillard, and it's going to be a free kick in the goalkeeper's favour. That was a good attempt by Brian Steen, and so typical of him. He's got good close control, he turns well, spins, gets his shot in, and Grobillard, who saw it coming, managed to turn it to safety. Ricky Hill fouled. Referee says take it quickly if you want. Here's Johnson. Newell battling for position. That was Craig Johnston's header out, and then Beglin's. Foster. Whelan. Only as far as Grimes as Luton start to build again. Foster. Hill. Oh, good control by Hill and by Steen. Hill again. And Harford completely fluffed his shot, although he hasn't been back in first-team action very long and was doubtful until this morning, even for this game. But Ricky Hill, also, like Brian Steen, has got the kind of confident close control which probably flourishes on this kind of surface. Between them, they work a nice double act here at Luton. Steen again, and Hill, and again Luton are pushing players forward. Harford on the far side now, battling for it. McMahon with a good header out. Here's Rush. Whelan. Rush, and he's got away from Nicholas. This is Walsh, and Foster's was the challenge. Pretty firm it was too. Luton are still enjoying a greater share of the territorial play, but Liverpool, down the years, have specialised in dealing with all that, and then, when the time is right, making their own openings at the other end. We shall see if that happens today.
Of course, Luton will also be thinking of the possibility of a replay at Anfield, which they'll not look forward to very much, so they'll get a little more apprehensive as the time goes. I think when they possibly can, they'll try to get the ball out to Craig Johnson over on the right-hand side of the field, because Ashley Grimes, the left back, against him is not the fastest player in the world, and if they can have a run at him, he'll perhaps create the danger that they've been looking for.
Here's Rush. Walsh is off through the middle, and that was a foul by Foster. And referee Alan Gunn decides the time is right for the first lecture of the afternoon. Steve Foster, the Luton captain, a cup finalist with Brighton and Hove Albion 4 seasons ago, played in the replay after being suspended from the first match against Manchester United. Free kick to Liverpool, to be taken by Molby. And Foster back in his defensive position. Molby for Liverpool. Walsh. Hill got a foot in. Here's Steen. Mick Harford's made a run to Steen's left, and so has Newell here. It was Lawrenson who went across. Well, the box holders on that far side, shivering no doubt, but they've got the balcony view. They seem to be enjoying it. Looks like Sammy Lee there, second from the right, an old Liverpool player. Unless I've made a bad mistake, I rather think that's a former Liverpool midfield man there. Plays now for QPR, if it is. I think we've spotted a Liverpool supporter in the ground there, haven't we? Forward by Donaghy. McMahon, in trouble, and David Priest. The flag was up anyway against another Luton player. Well, we're 20 minutes into the second half here of this third round FA Cup tie at Kenilworth Road. There is no score. And as Bobby Charlton was saying, if there is a replay, it will be at Anfield on Wednesday, which would obviously favour the holders. Steen to Rob Johnson, and he's got past Beglin, but he hasn't got past Whelan. Foster coming forward, Hill. Nicholas, Johnson, Hill. Oh, and Cornell's mistake, and a magnificent clearance. I think that's Craig Johnston back there. Extraordinary. Well, it is, yes. That was a most amazing clearance by Craig Johnson after an alarming error by Bruce Grobbelaar. Ricky Hill could hardly have meant to shoot. I think it was a ball driven in for one of the other forwards, but anyway, it escaped Grobbelaar's grasp. And what happened next was something close to a minor miracle, because Johnston, an attacking player, had somehow got back there. If it was him, this is Hill. I'm sure that's supposed to be a cross. Grobbelaar here should have gathered that, but failed. Now look what happens. How Harford or Newell couldn't get it in, only they will know, but Johnston appears to be the hero. Steen back to Grimes. Steen again. Well, I should imagine, Bobby Charlton, Nick Harford has just got himself involved with a Liverpool player inside the area, and the referee is well aware of what happened. Harford just showing there his physical presence in an off-the-ball position and getting lectured for it. The player concerned was Jim Beglin, who got hurt, but I would imagine, Bobby, I was about to say, that last incident will be the most talked about moment so far.
Well, I would imagine it seemed like an hour that the ball was bouncing on the line there, and the player you least expected to get it out, because he didn't have the best position actually, was Craig Johnson. But it was tremendously brave defensive work by him. He was quite prepared to be hurt, which he obviously was, but a terrific piece of defensive play and very exciting football. A terrific ball laid in actually by Ricky Hill, which created the problem in the first place.
I've got a feeling that Bruce Grobbelaar might owe Craig Johnston a drink tonight. Ricky Hill was disappointed because it was his cross-come shot, and there were two Luton players there who must be wondering quite how they couldn't have finished it. Here's Johnson. Hill. So the holders have survived an almighty scare, and Luton ought to feel encouraged, even though it wasn't entirely of their own making. Liverpool are being pushed back again, there's no question about that. Here's Steen. Hill lofting it in, Harford is closing. And Mark Lawrenson was the defender, and the linesman has run round to signal a corner. Well, is this going to be Luton's moment now? Just about all the supporters inside this ground are hoping so. Referee's talking to Jan Molby. Doubtless something was said. Priest will take the corner. Gillespie's header out. This is Nicholas. Great save. The goalkeeper had no hesitation there. That was a fine stop from Peter Nicholas. The danger is not over. It's a corner again, and Luton are throwing everything forward now. Grobbelaar again. Ricky Hill has miskicked. Nicholas. Well, in 84 games, Peter Nicholas has never scored a goal for Luton Town. But he was very close there. The corner was taken by David Priest. Gary Gillespie headed it out, and Nicholas got this down and got it on target, but that was Bobby Charlton. Fine goalkeeping.
Yes, I was just about to criticise Bruce Grobbelaar, and I thought that the Luton Town players would have sensed that he was having a little bit of a bad time and they were going to send as much as they could at him. But what a fantastic save to prove everyone wrong.
Well, many people have criticised him in the past, but he normally bounces back, and never quicker than then. Steen. Hill. Luton are bombing now. This is Rob Johnson. Rush. Never rule out the counter-attack, though. Oh, just offside. Poor Walsh.
I think this is where you would look for someone like Jan Mulvey to get hold of it and try and slow the game down a little. It's running away from Liverpool, and they don't seem to be able to get that control.
Harford. And again, Hill. In by Rob Johnson to Mike Newell. Steen, Newell, and Priest. It's good build-up again by Luton. Hill, and Newell couldn't reach it. They're really having a go, Luton, aren't they?
Yeah, they're feeding the front players well, they're laying it off well, and it's coming at Liverpool thick and fast from all directions. Good play by Luton Town. Ricky Hill on the right-hand side of the field probing. Also Nicholas in midfield. It's a tough time for the Reds.
Well, they've survived before, and they're surviving so far today. The FA Cup holders, Liverpool, never a team to get flustered in a crisis. And the score for all Luton's foraging remains 0-0. And there are 17 minutes to go. Steve Foster's header. Whelan, Mulvey. Oof, that was some collision between Foster and Mulvey. Not a foul though, this is Walsh. Whelan. Beglin. Lofted forward, looking for Rush. You can't complain about the action. It's fast and furious, and it's progressive too, particularly on Luton's part. This is Harford. It's a match devoid of many interruptions as well. There hasn't been too much whistle. There haven't been long injury delays. There's been some excitement at that end in the second half. That was Donegan. Here's Johnston. Here's Nicholas. Steen. Hill. Nicholas. A little triangle again. But it comes to nothing. These days you have to be an all-purpose player. And a man who scores the goal that puts his team ahead in the FA Cup final when they're about to win the double, Craig Johnston, at Wembley last May, the following January in the snow, makes a goal line clearance that might have just kept his club's hands on that trophy. 15 minutes left and no score. Here's Ricky Hill. And now it's Rob Johnson. Steen and Hill. Well, if you count that as a goal attempt, it makes it 18 to Luton and only 6 to Liverpool. That's a measure of the way the match has gone. The chances falling exactly 3 to 1 now in Luton's favour, or the attempts anyway. Rob Johnson, who's called the miracle man at Luton Town because he's the only footballer that they know about who's had both knees completely rebuilt. The cruciate ligament snapped in both Rob Johnson's knees and he still came back to play at top level. That's something for the medical people to marvel at. Here's Brian Steen. Johnston is back there again. Ashley Grimes. And now Ian Rush. Walsh. Oh, fouled by Foster. He ran into me, he says, but I think it was a little bit of the other. Well, as every minute ticks by, the odds, I suppose, shorten on a replay at Anfield, which would suit Liverpool. But here's Jim Beglin. McMahon, Walsh. So it'll be Luton who will want to try and force the pace in the closing stages. Here's Mal Donaghy, fouled by Molby. Donaghy takes the kick. Harford. Johnson. Oh, throw it very well. Ronnie Whelan just jabbing a foot in there. Russian Foster. Awkward for him, this. There's a good case for a free kick to Liverpool there. He appeared to be impeded to me, but the referee won't agree. He's given Luton the corner, and there could be some drama if they score from this. Foster and Donaghy and Harford are all positioned to come in for a header. And it was Mal Donaghy who failed to get it where he wanted. Although it was a clean attempt in the sense that he wasn't challenged. My own feeling is that maybe Liverpool had a case for a free kick the other way there. Still, it's been well refereed, this match, and well contested. And it could still go either way, because we've seen Liverpool before creeping in the last few minutes to decide a match that looked to be heading for a draw. But that's exactly what Luton want to do at the other end. And in cup football, you just never know.
Liverpool, like Stephen McMahon, they're quite prepared to just knock the ball forward. It's a dangerous game to play, really, on this sort of a surface. But while they've got Ian Rush up front, I suppose they always think that they've got someone that can lay the ball up who will waste that little bit of time and get them to the final whistle.
Well, he's on the run again there with Steve Foster hurrying back. Here's Johnson. It's Hill looking for Newell. And it's Gillespie not messing about at this stage of the afternoon. Charlton just says that sort of clearance belongs to the 50s, but it's still quite effective in the 80s. This is Peter Nicholas preparing to take the throw for Luton. There's Johnson, and it's Nicholas again. Still Luton have a chance to find a crossing position. There's 10 minutes to go. This is Foster. The Luton management team of John Moore and Ray Harford, the coach he appointed from Fulham, Must be quite pleased with the way their team have adapted to this match. It's never easy when you've thrashed Liverpool once, because you know very well they're not going to lie down a second time, and they haven't. And there's Ronnie Moran and Roy Evans on the Liverpool bench, and John Moore just leaning forward there, the Luton manager in the blue. Here's Steen. Rob Johnson's cross. Harford came in. Priest! Oh, it was close. Had to be taken quickly, and it fizzed across the 6-yard area and wide of the far post. Otherwise, that score on the illuminated board might have had to be changed.
He's quite impressed me, young Priest, on the left-hand side. Good two-footed player. And that was only a snapshot, but nevertheless only a foot or two wide.
And here he is again. Going to get a free kick this time. Ian Rush doing some defending, but Luton can only now pile forward and hope to snatch it in this home tie. Steve Foster is up again. That was Hansen's header. This is Nicholas. Now it's Hill. Turned in, Foster. Offside, Rush. Ian Rush, the more you look at him, looks very much like John Aldridge, the man bought partly to replace him. And there's a joke going around Liverpool that maybe they're going to send Aldridge to Italy and let Rush stay at Anfield. Who would ever know? Oh, Gillespie on the edge of the box, a foul on Harford. Now this could be dangerous. Luton have got a repertoire of free kicks. Steve Foster usually figures on one end of them. He's gone towards the ball with Ashley Grimes. And Steve Foster's been known to have a crack from here. Foster. What a tangle there on the wall, and they finally scraped the ball out. One of the great things about Liverpool is, although they've won a huge amount of trophies, they can still come away in the FA Cup and scrap and battle and do all the things you have to do to keep the lively home side out. That's the way of it for the moment. Rush. Johnston. Craig Johnston scored a vital goal here at Kenilworth Road last season when Liverpool won on their way to the League Championship. And that goal line clearance today. Here's Rush. Johnston again. And again. Well gathered. His goal line clearance today could prove most valuable for Liverpool, with 6 minutes left and no score. Johnson with the throw. Nicholas. Steen. Johnson. Hansen. McMahon. Hooking that away from Nicholas. Now Rush. Grimes for Luton. Begley. Nicholas for Luton. As we enter the last 5 minutes, the Liverpool supporters who were unable to gain admission today. Approximately 8,000 would have been expected, we're told, if away supporters had been allowed to come. Might be thinking about getting their tickets for Wednesday's replay at Anfield, but now I've said that, don't rule out a winning goal. Foster plays the ball forward, Molby for Liverpool, on to McMahon. Johnson's out on the right. Lawrenson making strides outside him here, 3 in the middle. Walsh couldn't reach it. Molby did. Whelan. This is Jim Beglin. Rush. Away from Nicholas, 2 Welshmen. Here's McMahon. Whelan is forward on this side. Walsh is in there too. And Mal Donaghy. And not one of the 4 substitutes has been used. In a way, a compliment, I suppose, to the players out there from the start who cope well in difficult conditions. Hansen, Molby, Harford out to Preece. Luton have got 4 waiting in the centre here. Hansen's header out, Molby comes off Nicholas. And Hansen clears. There are 3 minutes to go. It's Johnson for Luton. McMahon, Onek, Rush, not favourite to reach that. Johnson wanted the ball played to the right wing there. Instead, it's Harford battling here with Lawrenson. Play on, says Alan Gunn. McMahon finds Rush. Here's Whelan. And that's a good little ball by Ronnie Whelan to Paul Walsh. Johnston coming in from the far side for Liverpool. He's going at Foster here. And a goal kick has been given.
When you see the kind of service that Ian Rush has been getting today, it makes you wonder that when he goes, what sort of problems Liverpool are going to have. John Aldrich obviously coming from Oxford, but not the pace that Ian Rush has.
So Brian Clough's FA Cup hopes dashed again at an early stage. He's really not had much luck in that competition compared to others. Crystal Palace, though, have supplied one of the shock results of the weekend, and well done Steve Coppell and his team down there at Selhurst Park. This is Jim Begling trying to make sure the same thing doesn't happen to Liverpool as has happened to Nottingham Forest. Steen. Came back off Lawrenson to Nicholas, and it's a free kick to Liverpool. So that goal by a former Merseyside player, Alan Irvine, for Crystal Palace, has sent the second division team into tomorrow's 4th round draw, which all interested supporters will no doubt try to listen to live on Radio 2 at 12:30 from Lancaster Gate. It's beginning to look as though Liverpool and Luton will figure in that draw, because we're in the last minute of the match and there's no score. This is Rob Johnson. McMahon. Donaghy. Lawrenson to Johnston. Oh, well played by Preece. Is the time perhaps for one more scoring chance? Nicholas. Johnson certainly working hard to create one. This is Grimes. Molby. Forward by Foster. Up goes Hansen with Harford. And put up, free kick to Liverpool. Well, last season in the 6th round, Luton drew here with Everton and then went out on Merseyside in the replay, and it looks as though they're going to have to go back north again this week, because we are in stoppage time. there's been a marked absence of scoring chances created by Liverpool. Here's Steen, but it's all over, even though Luton created several of their own. And I suppose we shall remember a shot in the first half from Harford that crashed against the bar, and we shall certainly recall a quite extraordinary goal line clearance from Craig Johnston. But what that score means, as you can see, is that the two teams meet again on Merseyside on Wednesday evening. So those Liverpool supporters who couldn't be here today may well still see the resolution of this third round tie, which for today ends Luton Town 0, Liverpool 0.